A volunteer steps off a 150-foot tower. Backward. Free fall 70 miles an hour. A net waiting somewhere below. And strapped to their wrist is a tiny screen, flashing numbers too fast for the human eye to read. The scientists who built it had one question. When terror makes time slow down, are you really seeing in slow motion? Or is your memory about to lie to you? Here was the bet. If fear truly gives you slow motion vision, if your brain genuinely speeds up to capture more frames, then those numbers should snap into focus on the way down. You'd read them like a freeze frame. The fall lasted about 2.5 seconds. And what happened in those seconds rewrites everything you think you know about time. This is inner cosmos, where science meets wonder. Today, the strangest clock in the universe. The one inside your own head. Because time, the thing you trust most, the steady tick under every moment of your life, is not what it seems. Your brain doesn't measure time. It builds it. And it bends in 3 places. In danger, in flow, and in dreams. Start with the biggest surprise of all. There is no clock in your head. Scientists went looking for the brain's master stopwatch, the one organ that keeps time. They never found it. Instead, timing is scattered everywhere. The cerebellum handles split seconds. The deep structures called the striatum handle seconds. The cortex stretches longer still. Time isn't read from one dial. It's assembled on the fly by dozens of improvised circuits. And that's the key to the whole mystery. Because there's no single clock. There's no single clock to break. Time can warp in a different way in every situation depending on what your brain is paying attention to, how much it feels, and how much it remembers. Which is exactly why the same 2.5-second fall can feel like an eternity. And why, remarkably, we can prove it. Hold on to that last word. Remember, it's the secret behind the falling experiment. Back to the tower. The volunteers fell. They were terrified. And the moment it was over, they swore their own fall had felt longer, stretched out, slower than the falls they had watched other people take. So the scientists asked them to estimate it. Looking back, they judged their own plunge about 36% longer than the ones they only watched. Asked to relive it, they recalled almost 3 seconds where the stopwatch said barely 2. The slow-motion feeling was absolutely real. But the wrist screen told a different story. They could not read those fast-flashing numbers any better falling than standing still. Their vision never sped up. Not even a little. So where did the slow motion come from? From memory. In a crisis, a brain region called the amygdala floods the moment with detail, laying down a denser, richer memory than normal. And here's the trick your mind plays. You judge how long something lasted by how much you remember of it. More memory reads as more time. Think of a packed first day in a new city versus a forgettable commute home. Same hours on the clock, but the crowded one feels vast in hindsight. The fall didn't slow down while it happened. It slowed down afterward in the retelling. Which means the movies have been lying to you. There is no bullet time in your brain. No higher frame rate, no replay button, no genuine slow-motion vision in the moment of danger. The feeling is real. The mechanism is not. And honestly, the truth is stranger than the myth. So if danger writes time longer, what happens when you forget time completely? You felt it. You sit down to do something you love. You look up, and hours are gone, though it felt like minutes. This is flow, the state of total absorption. And losing track of time is one of its signatures, though, to be honest, a surprisingly variable one. Not everyone reports it, and it doesn't always speed up. But when it hits, the clock simply dissolves. Why? The leading idea is almost paradoxical. To make time vanish, part of your brain switches off. The prefrontal cortex, the region that monitors yourself and explicitly tracks time, appears to quiet down during deep focus. Researchers call it transient hypofrontality, and it makes a strange kind of sense. The part of you that would normally glance at the clock, narrate your own actions, and ask how long this is taking simply goes quiet, so there's no inner voice left to count the minutes. Losing yourself in the moment may literally be a quieter brain, not a faster one. It's a promising theory, still being tested, but the experience itself is unmistakable. There's another dial in play, a chemical one. Dopamine, the molecule of reward and drive, seems to set the tempo of your internal sense of time. Stimulants speed the felt clock up. Engaging, rewarding activity can make hours fly. Recent recordings even show dopamine surges tracking the wobble in people's time judgments. The exact wiring is still debated, but the direction is clear. Chemistry tunes your clock. Now, the place where everyone assumes time goes truly wild. Your dreams. You've heard that a dream lasting hours can flash by in seconds of sleep. The inception idea. So scientists found a clever way to test it. They used lucid dreamers, people aware they're dreaming, and asked them to count to 10 inside the dream, marking the start and end with deliberate eye movements. Those eye flicks show up on a sleep monitor in the real world. And the dream clock and the lab clock agreed almost exactly. Counting to 10 in a dream took about 10 real seconds. So dream time runs roughly like waking time, not hours into seconds. There's one honest wrinkle. When dreamers performed a physical action instead, like doing squats in the dream, those tasks ran noticeably longer, roughly 40 to 50%. And a fair warning. These are tiny studies, a handful of unusual sleepers, not crowds. So hold the numbers loosely. But the cinematic, lifetime in a nap dream? Mostly folklore. Which brings us to the warp you feel most of all. Time speeding up as you age. The popular explanation is the proportional theory. A year is 1/5 of your life at 5, but only 1/50th at 50, so each year feels smaller. It's elegant. It's old. And it doesn't really hold up. Even William James rejected it over a century ago. The numbers just don't fit. The better answer circles right back to where we started. Memory. Childhood is saturated with firsts. First ocean, first bike, first heartbreak, first time you stayed up to watch the sunrise. Each one a vivid, densely encoded memory. Adulthood settles into routine, and routine barely registers. Fewer new memories, fewer landmarks, and whole years blur together and feel like they raced by. It's the same rule the chronometer exposed on the tower. Dense memory feels long, thin memory feels short. The fall felt long because it was crowded with detail. A blurred adult year feels short because it's nearly empty. It's a promising idea, not a closed case, but the thread is beautiful. Let's be honest about what we actually know. Proven. Time is constructed by the brain. There's no single clock. And in danger you remember more, not see more. Emerging, the role of dopamine, the quieting prefrontal cortex in flow, and novelty stretching remembered time. These are promising, not settled. Belief. That time is an illusion and past and future already coexist in a single unchanging block of reality. And the contemplative idea that living fully in the present moment stretches lived time. Respectfully, those are stances with only a partial echo in the novelty research, not proven results. And myth, real-time slow-motion vision in a crisis, and lifetimes crammed into a dream. The feelings are real. The mechanisms are not. So here's where the falling experiment leaves us. Time doesn't slow in a crisis. Thickens in memory. And that same rule shapes your whole life. The days you'll remember as long are the days packed with something new. So a real question for you. If you want the summer to feel longer, to stretch your life back out, what is the one new thing you'll do this week? Tell me in the comments. If you're fascinated by where science meets wonder, subscribe and stay curious. Because there's one more part of this story. We found that quieting the prefrontal cortex can make time disappear. But there's a network in your brain that never really goes quiet, the one that whispers when you're doing nothing at all. Next time, the quietest voice in your head, your default mode network. We'll chase that one together.